Are radical city girls a thing? Let's find out.
Hey, so I'm actually editing this video right now, and I realized that the audio wasn't the best because my mic wasn't close enough to me. So just bear with me when it comes to the audio. I fixed it as much as I could, but just know my next video, the audio would be much better, trial and error.
Hello there, and welcome back to my channel. I am Donna Kevra, and I make space to discuss topics that intersect between things like gender, race, current events, theory, and radical imagination. I have been on a slight hiatus due to contemplating on whether or not it's worth it to put myself on a platform where my voice can be heard but also misconstrued. So yeah, I'm here obviously, so I think that it is worth it, and boy do I have a lot to say. So without further ado, let's get into this hearty discussion. Moonshine. Okay, initially I came up with this topic while I was doing some self-reflection on where I wanted to see my life going and how to get there. For one, I was a self-proclaimed city girl, period, with aspirations to live a full radical lifestyle. Now, before I go further, I believe it would be helpful to define some terms real quick, just so that we're all on the same page. So I thought I just said a mouthful, so I wanted to give some definitions on what I mean by when I say I'm a city girl. I also want to give definitions on what I mean by radical lifestyle. So this definition is from Urban Dictionary. A city girl is a girl who don't give a fuck about no nigga in her bag one way or another. Not a hoe, can be one, whatever that means. Also likes to have fun because you only live once. The fuck? So I'm gonna give my own definition on what a city girl is to me, and I feel like my own definition goes into a little more depth since this is a life that chose me since I was young. To me, a city girl is a baddie, usually black, preferably black, that knows how to use what she got to get what she wants and needs. At the most basic level, to me, the baddie is able to get the necessities that come with life: food, shelter, transportation, healthcare, childcare, money, you know.
And I ain't never had to pay, and my rent ain't never been late, bitch. Why? Cause you know my tits and my ass is fake.
And depending on how saucy the baddie is and their priorities, luxury things can be acquired as well, So like clothes, shoes, land, cars, those kind of things. I also want to add that this is not gendered, even though it says city girl, I be saying city boys too, but I feel like city girl it's not gendered to me. Now, moving on to what it means to be a radical. Radical is a person who advocates thorough or complete political or social reform, a member of a political party or part of a party pursuing such aims. And for my personal definition of radical, radical looks like a person that seeks ultimate change within and without political systems. Someone that strives for extreme reset in order to have an equitable society. Or like someone that strives for extreme reset in order to have a completely different society. Radicals can be seen on any side of the political sliding scale, right or left. There's radical right, there's radical left. And this definition I am giving is for the left-leaning side, for me specifically. And also, just quick background, I also identify as an anarchist, which is one form of radicalism.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
But honey boo boo child, that is another talk, another video for another night. So I am using the term city girl because of the popularity of the term and the widely recognized lifestyle in the current times that can be seen on TV. social media,
And I brought so many of the shades, and they really been coming in handy for you, girl.
and heard in a lot of the popular songs that have been out for the last several years. The concept of having your hand out is not new and has been done since the beginning of time. But I will use the phrase of city girls so that there can be an understanding and a relation to the current times, just so we can understand and like there's a relation there. There's relation, like we understand. So some commonly thought of current city girls are Lil Kim, Megan Thee Stallion, Otto, Nicki Minaj, Trina, Cardi B, Lizzo, Saucy Santana, Lori Harvey, Black China, Flo Milli, Shinsia, and of course, JT and Carisha from the City Girls. While all of the artists and celebrities listed may not be actively saying fuck these niggas or directly asking for things in return for time or attention, on camera at least. They're not doing it in public, honey. They're not doing it in public. But their behaviors and public presence shows that they understand the concept of fuck these niggas. They understand the concept of fuck these niggas. And when I say niggas, it's just men in general. But I'm black girl, so I can say it, you know what I mean? But these black femmes share a message of have your damn hand out. Okay, so that's like quick background. So back to how I got here. So anyhow, I was in deep thought and I had to ask myself, could it be possible to be a city girl with radical politics? Is it possible to be a city girl with radical politics? Initially, I thought, no. City girls are obsessed with monetary value and material things. There's no way you can strive for complete circular community leadership, all while centering one of the most dangerous things ever created, money. Then I did some more thinking, and I thought, yes, I can. First of all, I can do anything that I put my mind to. And then also, just because someone is a city girl, that doesn't mean they have to center money. Hear me out. Acquiring necessities doesn't always have to be done with money or even for money. Bartering is a thing. Trading is a thing. Favors for favors is a thing. One can even argue that being a city girl simply means you have a relationship language that results in gift giving or offerings. These things are not harmful like money and can actually be seen in communities that center relationships and community care and not centering individualism like how capitalism and Western democracy does. That's deep. I'm gonna let that marinate for a second, honey. Let that marinate for a second, honey. But still, something wasn't feeling all the way complete in these ideas. It seemed like there was more nuance to these ideas, and I believe that it is important to explore because of the important roles that Black femmes have played through historical political shifts, globally in general, and in the Western Hemisphere specifically. I was really thinking and doing research and reading and just having deep thought with myself and just thinking there is a way to partner these concepts together in a way that still feels right and grounded and centered. So, because there's a huge wave of being a city girl and how influential that lifestyle is, it makes sense to reflect on what is really being acquired and how that can be partnered with how we can get closer to freedom. So, look at my little sip, girl, my moonshine. Okay, because I'm getting... So, when we think of city girls, we have an idea in our head of who that is. Usually it's someone with an aura of confidence, fresh hair, nails did, fly outfits, an attitude that commands respect, and a special je ne sais quoi that allows gifts and money to be thrown at them. These baddies are usually on the sexual side and aren't afraid of being the center of attention.
They're covered in Swarovski crystals, girl.
They are also known for being superficial, money hungry, gold diggers, ditzy, rude, shallow, and ultimately hoes. As someone who shares spaces with city girls specifically and black women as a whole, I know that we can be several things at once, and there could be multiple truths at once. So, yes, someone can be rude as well as family oriented and perceived as smart all in the same breath. You know? Like, characteristics are just that, but to be put in a box because of said characteristics is unfair and simply lazy. Like, black women are enrolled in college at a higher percentage than any other group, including white women, Asian women, and white men. Period. What that mean? What that mean, girl? What they saying? I thought a broke nigga said something. I thought an unenrolled nigga said something. Anyway, not all black women take on a life of higher education, but most do still end up being breadwinners in their household, as well as the adult doing the brunt of the labor. Women of color and black women women of color and black women especially have always been more likely to work outside the home than white women. This has ties to chattel slavery and the lack of labor differences based on gender while enslaved. That's also another conversation for another day, honey, but trust me, we'll get to it. We will get to it. We're going to talk about slavery. Anyways, because black women have always been working outside and inside the home, there is an effect of us, taking on too much labor and not knowing rest and leisure, not knowing true rest and leisure. Because, girl, when we talk about self-care, I feel like we get a little misconstrued, honey. One can argue that being a city girl is fighting against the common trope of strong black womanhood by demanding the most while giving the least. Something that black women have been on the opposite end of for hundreds of years. But this is actually not that new of a concept. I'm specifically talking from a lens that is Western Hemisphere, African American, kind of thing. But for example, personally, I learned how to get the most from my mama and her mama and my older sisters and other older women that crossed my path while I was being grown up. There wasn't an exclusive lesson being taught to me where people would whisper in my ear, just like, ask boys for money, or don't give him any time if he's not giving you anything, or make sure that you're getting something out of him. Like, there wasn't anything explicitly being said in that way. But there would be conversations that would happen while watching movies or like while discussing current events, pop culture, or like overhearing conversations where there would be phrases that I would hear like, why would she even be with a nigga that couldn't do shit for her? Like I'd hear things like that, or maybe something like, you're not about to catch me out here with a motherfucker that ain't paying some bills. Like, that's what I would hear growing up. So I was, learning from these concepts and hearing these things while I was a child, So social teachings is definitely a huge thing. Oral traditions is a thing, especially in the black community, where we are taught things and things are being brought down to us in a way that is oral. It doesn't have to be explicitly said. So these subconscious lessons showed me that if I asked, I could get. And if I wasn't getting from one, there is always going to be another that will give. Period.
Period. Period. Period. Period. Period. Period. Period.
And because black women come with so many skills ranging from professional, personal, familial, spiritual, it is easy for a young femme-presenting child like myself to reflect and say, pay me for my time. Like, give me something for all that I come with, because I come with so much. Like, the least you could do is give me something, Like, that was my idea for it, of like, hello. And I don't see anything wrong with that. Period. There are other women that have been known historically for being a baddie and exuding city girl energy, historically speaking. So let's just go to Eartha Kitt. Eartha Kitt is one of my favorite ancestors because of her cutesy gestures and powerful words that amplified no need for men outside of being accessories and the cherry on top. You feel me? Like, hello.
But are you willing to compromise within a relationship?
Compromise? What is compromising? Compromising for what? Compromising for what reason? To compromise? For what? To compromise. What is compromise?
If a man came into your life, wouldn't you want to compromise?
Stupid. A man comes into my life and I have to compromise? You must think about that one again. A man comes into my life and you have to compromise for what? For what? For what? A relationship is a relationship that has to be earned, not to compromise for.
And Grace Jones is another favorite elder of mine. I love Grace Jones so much. That is free in expressing that men are around to add onto life and not take away.
Perfume? Can you smell her at all?
No, I got my own body odor perfume.
Let's try and keep it on a slightly higher level, if we may.
No.
Are you wearing perfume at this moment?
No, I very seldom do.
If you turn your back
No,
to me one more minute.
I have got to
This
talk
has
to
been
this.
going on too long already.
Well, it's only going to go on about another 6 minutes, and you're going to have another little part of it soon.
Maybe I should go right now.
No,
then.
don't go right now unless you really want to.
Well, don't turn your
No,
back on me anymore.
I can't look at you. Now, hold on, just a moment.
So I say all this to say that the concept of having your hands out for what you want and need is not new, and it is beautiful to exercise, and especially when you find fun and joy in it. Hello, like being a city girl is fun. Like when you're good at it, honey, it's a good time. But is it radical? Is it something that has freedom in the mix? I argue, yes. Yes, it does. Freedom is a subjective thing that takes different forms based on who you're asking, why you're asking them, and why they're answering. You know, their background, where they come from, what their concept of like freedom is, what their concept of bondage is. So since I'm specifically talking about Black women, I will say that the freedom that I am discussing looks like having no marginalization based on white supremacy, patriarchy, gender constrictions, like what comes from TERFs and other people that hold gender norms, domestic and sexual violence, and ageism. Now, join me as I just speak on an imaginative environment that's filled with radical ideas, where people are able to choose the type of labor that they will contribute to society, where your labor isn't based on wage and how much you make, but based on passion and interest. In this imaginative world, there's enough food to go around, and housing is a right and not a commodity used to exploit and monopolize. I imagine these things very often. I imagine people being able to interact with one another out of interest, out of love, out of mutual consent, and for the greater good of the community around them. And for that community, there are agreed guidelines. And if someone does not agree to these guidelines, or someone breaks one or more of these guidelines, then there are circular processes to decide on what's next. I think about, people being able to share leadership in a way that centers the community and its greater good. Honey, I be imagining, okay? I just be thinking of like how awesome this is. And imagination is awesome. And it's great to see life in color. Period. Girl, the moonshine is hitting. Anyways, now, in this imaginative environment, can a city girl be born and exist? Yes. While she may not be asking for a nigga to pay her rent like in these times, there may be a different request. Maybe she wants 2 cows and some lamb chops. Like maybe she wants someone to like tidy up her lawn, or like be able to do some like lawn services in exchange for like a date, or hanging out, or like maybe she can cook for the person and then like he tidies her lawn. Like both the baddie and her suitor could agree to be in a romantic relationship as long as both of their needs are being met. Like it doesn't really matter whether or not she's asking for money or he wants sex. Maybe he wants her to cook for him, and maybe she wants him to mow her lawn. If the needs of the people are being met, then that allows the people to get creative with how partnership can look. You know, this concept can seem foreign because of how we are propagandized to live in the United States, how we think money is the only way to get things, and how we think money is the only way to live a full, successful life. In the United States, though, folks are struggling. And folks are struggling to keep a roof over their head, food on the table, their children watched, money in their pockets, and struggling to have fulfilling romantic relationships, especially Black women. Now I'm gonna go on a little tangent, and I'm just gonna talk about like patriarchy and racism and capitalism and the violence of colonialism. So I just want to add that violent patriarchal societies on the Western Hemisphere are a result of white supremacy and the deadly wave of colonialism. Though no society will ever be perfect, the huge leaks and extremely lopsided structures in the United States speak for themselves. Like, look around, excuse me. Look around. Look around. If this shit that we're in right now worked, there wouldn't be a 100-year-old housing crisis that started since the Great Depression. There wouldn't be a silent famine that no one wants to talk about, uncontrollable gun violence, extremely horrendous police brutality, and so many other things I could name that would take days for me to get into, but don't worry, we gonna get into it. So, marinate on that. And I just encourage y'all to join me in active imagination on what radical societies can look like. But like I said, girl, that's another topic for another day, but I'm back and I'm better, honey. We're gonna get into her. Anyways, no matter the society and structure type, because of the historical background of Black women, specifically African American women, you know, those that are descendants of chattel slavery, there are going to be additional skills and gifts that just come with Black women and femmes that add glitter to the lives of those around them. When it comes to like a huge, extreme tragedy that happens to a group of people, yes, it does have negative sides to it, and also there are some, I don't want to say positive sides, but it allows people to be able to navigate life in a different way, and that's very special. And Black women have isms and schisms like all other living things. If we are classified as city girls because of asking for what we want, then so be it. But no matter the social classification, Black women and femmes stating that they would like something.
Find something. Yeah, I was trying to find something. Something, very much something. Yeah, I was trying to find something to talk about.
Saying that they would like something to show and appreciate the gifts is radical as fuck to me. To ask for something, that's radical when people are expecting you and the expectation is to get nothing at all. It's radical to say, hey, give me something. Period. Now, let's really get free and stop censoring romantic partnership. That's the true tea, honey. The true tea is the way to true freedom is to not censor romantic partnership, honey. Because there's different ways to be in partnership. There's partnership with your family, there's partnership with yourself, there's partnership with your friends. Of course, romantic partnership, it gives a different type of fulfillment. And also, like, that doesn't have to be the center. I just feel like everyone just has this goal of just getting into a relationship, especially if it's going to look monogamous, and just be with that person for the rest of your life. And if it doesn't happen, then you just crumble, or by a certain time, then whatever, and people just get desperate. We just find ourselves in these really not good situations because we're centering romantic partnership as if that's the only way to get fulfilled, as if that's the only type of partnership that can really bring joy and bliss and sexiness and, you know, deepness and connection. And it's not. But honey, I'm shaking the table too much, girl.
Yo, try it. Try it. With me if you want to. It's not a good day. Okay? Now back to that one.
That's all that I had to say. I'm glad I was able to get this off my chest. I've been thinking about this for a while. I had to re-record this video, but I did it because I feel like it was really important to talk about. And yeah, it's just opening up a Pandora's box of feelings and ideas for myself. As I do more research and read and reflect and just do, you know, deep thought, imagination, There's gonna be more follow-up videos, ideas of what it felt like to be a city girl and why I don't really proclaim that anymore. Like, I still have an appreciation for the lifestyle, but it's not something that I'm actively like thinking about or actively having to do. And that is a privilege because of like survival and all those other things and where I'm at right now in my life. But I just want to close out by saying thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you liked it. If you did like it, hit a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, still hit the thumbs up. Subscribe, leave a comment, let me know you stopped by, let me know your thoughts on this. Share this with someone, rewatch it if you feel the need, and just let me know. Like, I really hope that you enjoyed this. I've definitely been working on this for a while. Like I said, it's the beginning of a series. I am grateful, and until next time. I don't wear a job, bitch. I am a job. You don't like it, take a hike. Pay me for a fucking slob. I'm a rich ass bitch. Period. Period. Material girl. Material girl.
Yum. Good old Florida water, baby. Good old Florida water for the Florida girls. Hello.